Okay, so now we could continue on creating or finishing the fuselage part of the aircraft. On where we have left on as well is this part right here. Let me just switch tabs. So we'll be creating this section right here and then right here as well, and then finishing it at this section as well. As you might have noticed that the portion right here and also this is quite different from the previous video that I have recorded, or the part 1 of this of the fuselage making. And yes, it is completely different as I am not happy with the previous shape of the body of the aircraft. So I have reconstructed it, and by looking at it, it's not, yes, it is not perfect, but it is as close as possible to the outlines of the canvas that we have here. Okay. So right now we are currently familiar with the basic or the basic foundation that I have taught you, which is creating like offset planes or creating sketches on different faces. Don't worry, I will still be using those tools that we have already learned. Plus, there will be also another tips or tricks that I'll be teaching you so that we could create this section right here. And also maybe on future aircrafts, after that you have made this, on future aircrafts as well that you'll be making, you'll be able to apply those methods as well, or the tools that we'll be using as well. So let us proceed. And by the way, I'll be switching tabs maybe on this video, since I'll be referencing on the model that I have already created. So let us go ahead and create again our sketch. So again here, I'll create sketch. So I'll select this, and then I'll select this face, the right side or this side face. And then, before creating any sketch, what I would like to do is project the 3D body that we have already created. So there are two ways where you could open the project tool. So under here, create drop down, and then project, and then project here. And then you could also see that there is a letter, the letter P beside it. So we could use that as a keyboard shortcut. So how about, let's just click P on our keyboard. So P, and then there we go. And then on the project palette, you could see that there are two different types of selection filter. The first one would be specified entities. So what specified entities would do is, if we have selected this, and then select the body, it would only select the two sides of the 3D body here. But that's not what we want. What we want is that the body would be projected as a whole, as a 2D sketch. So I'll select the bodies instead of the specified entities. So select bodies, and then I'll select this body, and then hit OK. And then I don't need this body anymore, so I'll hide it. So I could click it here, and then hide this body, or I'll undo this one. I could also select this body right here, and then on my keyboard press V as in Victor, and then you see that the body or the 3D body has been hidden. And then now, what I have told you, since we have selected the project tool as bodies, you would see here that the four sides or the whole body has been projected as a 2D sketch. So this is only a 2D sketch, so if I rotate this view, you can see that it's just a rectangle. So let me go ahead at the right side view. Okay, that is okay for me. And then I'll create construction lines first. So line here from the origin point. So select it here, first point, and then second point here. And then hit check this button right here once we're done. and then again another line. So L on my keyboard or here, you could select it here, and then snap it at this first point. So 1 and then 2, roughly around here. So it doesn't have a specific length. So these lines would only serve as a guidelines or construction lines. So press check here, I'm done here. And then I'll convert these two lines into construction lines. So I'll press and hold Control on my keyboard, and then left click on my mouse, left click this line here, and then left click this, and then release the Control key on my keyboard. And then here on the sketch palette, the line type I'll select as a construction line. And there you go. And then again, I'll be creating a circle. So I'll select circle, or on my keyboard press C, and then don't create a circle yet. So under here at the sketch palette, at the feature options, there are different ways on creating a circle. So there's 2 point, 3 point, 3 tangent, a center. By default it's center, always set, and then 2 tangent. But what I would like to select is the 2-point circle. So I'll create a 2-point circle. I'll snap the first point from the construction line that we have created. So 1 and then 2. Press escape on my keyboard. So let me explain first how I created the circle here. So this circle will only serve as a construction line as well, same as the 2 lines. But what I would like to do when I'm creating a circle, for this specific circle, I would like it to be as close to this edge of this canvas right here. So there we go. And then we could proceed on creating the second circle. So again, on my keyboard, press C, and then on the feature options, select 2-point circle, and then from here, from this construction line, so 1, and then right around here, 2. Escape on my keyboard. Same scenario as this, so I just want it to be close to this. So doesn't need to be perfect, just make sure that it's close as possible to the outline right here. Okay, and then for our third circle, so again, C on my keyboard, feature options, that would be 2-point again. So instead of starting here, I'll start here at the top. Before I create circle, or before I create the 2-point circle, what I would like to do is create or start the first point of the circle at the highest point of this outline right here. So visually looking, I think this is where I would start. So the first point of the circle would be here, 1, and then snap it here, 2. So again, same scenario. I'm just trying to this curvature right here of the circle, I want it to be as close to the outline of the canvas right here. There we go. And then we're not done yet. I'll be creating a line. So L on my keyboard, or line here, so line. And then on our third circle, from the center, I'll create a vertical line. So we can see it's perfectly vertical, so that's 90 degrees. So 2, and then check, I'm done. Escape on my keyboard. I'll just trim the excess here. Trim tool, trim the excess. And then again, line. Select line here. From the center of the circle, perfectly vertical, that's 90 degrees. Second point here, check. Okay, hit escape. Trim again the excess. Okay, and then line, or press L on my keyboard. This one, I would make this line as a horizontal line here. So L again, and then horizontal. There we go. And check. Escape on my keyboard. Trim the excess line. There we go. We have the construction circles and the lines inside them as well. So what I'm gonna do is I'll just batch select them, and then I'll be converting them into a construction line, the same as these two here. So what we could do is, or what I did there just is left click on my mouse and then click at any point here at the space, so, and then drag, and you see there that it is currently selected. And then just go here at the sketch palette again and then line type construction. There we go. Now we have 3 construction circles that will serve as a guide for our fit point spline that we'll be creating. By the way, before I proceed on creating the fit point spline, for me this is the easiest method on manipulating the fit point spline, as this tool right here, the fit point spline, this is really a complicated tool to use for me. On my previous aircrafts that I have did, it's really hard to manipulate to get the exact shape of the like for example this at the exact shape or at the outline of this canvas right here. But through experience and also from errors, trial and errors, this is the method that I have discovered, or what I have used, creating first circles that will serve as a guide, so that I could create or manipulate the fit point spline the way that I like to do, so that I could create or as to get as close as possible to complicated shapes just like this one. So you'll see from this. So I'll create a fit point spline here. So select this fit point spline here, and then our starting point would be here, 1. Second point would be here, 2. Third point would be here, 3. And 4 would be here, 4. And then check once you're done. Then hit escape on your keyboard. So right now, yes, the shape kind of looks funny or doesn't really trace the outline right here, but don't you worry. We'll be using this tool right here, the horizontal vertical constraint. Before we use that, we need to select first the fit point spline that we have just created. So I'll just select it here, left click, and then we'll see that there are these green lines. So what Fusion 360 calls them is tangent handles. So what we need to do is, since there are 4 tangent handles, we'll be constraining them or also moving them so that we could get this shape right here of the canvas. So for the first tangent handle, what I would like to do here is select this, so left click anywhere, so hit left click here, and then constrain this as a horizontal or vertical. There you go. Press escape on my keyboard, and then you could see here that it's perfectly transitioning from the body that we have just projected into 3D, from 3D sketch. You could see here that it's perfectly blending us from vertical or from horizontal line. It's perfectly or seamlessly blending into curved line. So that's what we want. That's why we are using a constraint. Particularly here, we just have used this one, the horizontal or vertical constraint. Next, you can see that the other tangent handles have been hidden. Don't worry. To make them visible again, just click on the fit point spline. And there you go. And then, same as what we did earlier, or on the first tangent handle, select this, and then on the constraint, horizontal and vertical. Okay, that's great. And then let's move on. I'll skip this part here, later on we'll move this. So let's skip this third tangent handle and we could proceed on the fourth tangent handle. Before we do any constraints or apply any constraints at this fourth tangent handle, we need to move this first. So um, since we're using horizontal or vertical constraint, if we immediately apply the constraint here at this tangent handle, since this line is uh, closely parallel to being horizontal, if I click on this, if I immediately click on this, since the name of this is horizontal or vertical, and this line is closely parallel to being horizontal, if I click on this, you would see that um, it would just be constrained into a horizontal line. And this is not what I want since, okay, sorry, that's loading. Since that this would be limited for us to move this or get the shape of this. So what we need to do, I'll just undo this one. Select on the fit point spline again. And then what I need to do is move first the tangent handle closely parallel to being a vertical, or to being vertical, to this vertical construction line that we have created. So I'll select this point of the tangent handle right here. So select this, M on my keyboard to move this, and then this box right here, I'll select this, left click, and then grab and hold until this tangent handle is closely parallel to being a vertical line. So that's okay, doesn't need to be exactly like this, so um, I will use the constraint here, so it's okay that we could just leave it here. And then I'll just hit OK. But let me just organize these palettes here. Then OK. And then again, now I could proceed on putting a constraint here at the tangent handle. So I'll select this, I'll go here at the constraints, and since like I've told you, it's close to being parallel to the vertical line, if I hit this, this would detect that, or Fusion 360 would detect that I would want this to be constrained vertically. There you go. Okay, so I have just hit escape, and then I'm just visually looking at this one. So right now it still looks funny, or doesn't really looks close to the outline of the canvas yet. That's okay. So what I would do again is on this tangent handle, I'll select this line here, or sorry, I'll select this point here of the tangent handle. So left click, and then M on my keyboard again. And then instead of using this, since even if we use this, since it is constrained at being vertical, the only option, even if I move this, the only movement that this would do is up and down. So maybe we could just move it here using arrow keys. Or yes, it depends on what you want to use, but since that we have already constrained this, even if you do anything, the only movement that this would do is up and down only, since that it is vertically constrained. So yes, here, right there. So okay, we'll just leave it as this is. I'm happy with this portion here. This is close to this outline, or maybe we just need to move it there. Okay, and then I'll hit OK. And then here, we'll go back at the third tangent handle that we haven't moved yet, or haven't put any constraints. So here I'll adjust this to closely match this shape right here. So here I'll select this point of this tangent handle. So select this point, left click, M on my keyboard, and then I'll grab this box here and then move it just right here. Okay, so I'm okay with that. I can proceed on this. Don't worry, later we'll get back here once we have adjusted some of these lines here. So I'll go here, select this point of this tangent handle, and then M on my keyboard, and then here, OK. I'll hit OK. And then I'll move this again. I'll adjust this again. So I'll adjust this. Okay. And right now, this portion right here doesn't really get the outline of this part here. So what I would try to do is I'll move this, or I'll manipulate the tangent handle here. So select this, left click, M. Doesn't really make much of a difference, so I'll just cancel. How about let's try here. You see, that's the challenge of using the fit point spline and the tangent handles. So you really have to be patient, and it's really a trial and error just to get the approximately close to the shape that you're trying to create. So let me try here at this portion. Since at this point I don't seem to get any much difference when I'm moving this. So I'll proceed here. So I'll move this. Select this first and then move. Okay, so again, doesn't really make much of a difference. The same as this point here, even if we move it. So I'll just hit cancel. So are we out of options? No. So we could still move some other parts of the drawing. So what I would like to do is, you see, we have created a construction circle, right? A construction line of a circle. So what I would do is select the circle here, and then M on my keyboard, and then I could move this. And then from here, I could manipulate it so that I could get closely as possible to this shape right here. And then again, I'll try to adjust this, so I'll select this point of this tangent handle and then M, and then try to move this, and then OK. And then, well, I'm quite not still happy with this, so I'll try to move some tangent handles here. So how about I'll move this here. So like I've told you, this really takes much of your patience. So you really have to experiment what tangents to move, or what construction lines that you have did and what you need to move just to get close to the shape that you're creating. So let's try, if I let me try this again, if I could, this would make much of a difference if I move this. So yeah, I think it's making a small amount of difference, not really much, but it's creating a difference. How about I'll move this again. So select M on my keyboard, how about here, OK, and then I'll move it here. I'll cancel this. So let me try this point here. So select M. Let me try it here. Okay. Let's try and move the circle. So select M. Okay. And then let me try and move this. So select M. okay, and then select M, okay, select the circle, then okay. So that's last adjustment. So select this point here, and then okay, and then I'll select the circle. Let me try and move it this one more time. Okay, there we go. Yes, um, doesn't really get the exact shape of this one, but it is closely or approximately close to the shape that we're trying to create, which is this one. So I wouldn't really take much of the time here in perfecting on creating this, but yes, in on creating this, going back here, it did really take some time on adjusting the tangent handles, adjusting the construction lines or the construction circles that you have, just to get closely to the shape that you're trying to create. So, like I've told you, it's really a game of patience, trial and error, just to create the perfect shape. But at least we know how to use the tangent handles, and also when we're out of options, well, we're really not out of options, but we could try and move things so that we could still manipulate the shape of it. So there we go. Now we're done with the first section or the outline of this upper portion of this cockpit right here. So that's okay. We could now proceed on the second fit point spline. So this one, for the lower portion, this is really basic, so it just consists of two lines right here. So let me just check here. Or okay. Let me extend this. So I'll extend this line here, and then I'll extend this line here. Okay. So to create the last portion of the cockpit section or the outline for it, I'll select again fit point spline and then select these points right here. So 1, 2, and then 3. And then check when you're done. Then hit escape. Right now, I really don't need the construction line that we have created. So I'll select the construction line and then delete on my keyboard. Then that's okay. And then select again the fit point spline that we have just created. And then I'll select this tangent handle right here. Again, horizontal or vertical constraint. It's okay. Same for this. And then same for this as well. And then I'll hit escape. Since again, like I've told you, this line is closely parallel to being horizontal, we need to adjust it first to be so that it would be closely parallel to being vertical, because that's what we want the constraint to be. I want it to be vertically constrained. So again, I'll select this point right here, press M on my keyboard, closely to being parallel to vertical, so that's okay. I'll hit OK, and then now I could select this and then constrain this to horizontal or vertical. There we go. And then I'll hit escape on my keyboard, and then we could adjust this fit point spline that we have just created. So I'll adjust it here. Right now it's really confusing. Just make sure that you still remember where the fit points or the tangent handle for that specific fit point spline that you have created. So I know that this is the short, for this fit point spline, this is the shortest one. So I'll move it here. Oh, sorry. So that's the longest one. So cancel. So M. Okay. And then I'm also checking the other uh, parts of the points that we have created. And then move it just a little bit. I think we're okay with this one. Then hit OK. And there we go. So once you're done here, or you're happy with this, you could just finish sketch. Or sorry, so not yet. We wouldn't finish the sketch first. So I'll create another construction line. So another line here, and then you still remember the 3D body that we have just projected. Well, the good thing is that it already detects where the midpoint of that sketch is. So I'll snap it here, and then I'll snap the second point here. And then I'll convert this line that we have just created into a construction line. And there we go. And then I'll finish the sketch. And now we are done creating the side profile, or the outline for the cockpit section right here. Okay, so after we have created this construction line, we need to create a plane at an angle from this line. For us to do that, we need to select this first. So I'll select this line, go here at the construct tool, and then we'll select plane at an angle. Right now, the orientation isn't correct. So what we have to do is we need to grab this and rotate the plane, or we could just enter the specific value. So for us, we'll do 90 degrees. There we go. So we have just created a plane at this construction line that we have created. Now we could start creating our top sketch for our top canvas here. So I'll select the plane again and then create sketch. Same as what we did here at the side canvas, we will project the 3D body, create construction lines, construction circles. We'll be using the fit point spline and also adjusting the tangent handles at the points of the fit point spline that we just created. So again, here at the bodies, I'll just unhide the body, the 3D body, and then I'll project this body again. And then from the selection filters, I'll be selecting bodies, and then I'll select this, then hit OK. Then I don't need again the body here, so I'll just hide this one. And there we go. Now let us create the construction line. But before we do, since we already have a reference point from the side sketch that we have created, I'll just reference or create the construction line from the intersection or from the points here on these circles that we have made. So for us to be able to do that, we need to project this once more. So press P on my keyboard, and then since we are just projecting a point and it is not a 3D body, we'll from this project palette, we'll be selecting the specified entities. So I'll select this, and then I'll select this point here, I'll select this point here, and last is I'll select this point here. I'll click OK once we're done. Now I could start creating the construction line for
for later on, this would be the guide for our construction circle. Okay, since I have already projected the points here, I'll just be hiding the side sketch. I'll hide the side sketch first. I'll go at the view cube, I'll click on top view, and then let's create a construction line starting from this point and then right around just here. Once done, um, click check. Then we could proceed to the other one. And then for this, I'd like this line to be the same length as this first line that we have created. So you'd see if I um, roughly estimate, or I mean, Fusion 360 would automatically detect so that you could copy the exact length of the line that you have created. So here you could see there's a broken line and a broken line that's color blue here. So it means that the same line that we are creating has the same length as the first line that we have created, and that's what we want. So if I also check this, so I'll create another line, just check this one. So you could see that it's perfectly aligned and the reference line is perfectly horizontal or 180 degrees. So okay, now we could create a circle. So I'll select circle here. For now, what we would select from the feature options, we'll select the center diameter circle. So from here, 1 and then 2. And then here, 1 and then 2. And then last is we'll create a 2-point circle from here, from the point. From this point that we have projected. Careful, as you might snap the first point of the 2-point circle here at the origin. Make sure that you would snap the first point of the circle at the projected point that we have, since this is aligned at the side sketch that we have created. Let me just hide the canvas and you would see this is the point that we have projected. So again, I'll hide the side sketch, you don't need that now. I'll go to canvas, again, snap it here. If you don't see it, just zoom it in so that you could see the projected point that we have. And then I'll just make sure that this is perfectly while I'm creating the circle, is the second point is perfectly aligned at the center of the sketch. So you could see it, or the Fusion 360 automatically snaps it at the center. So let's see it here, and then just right around here. There we go. So the same as what we did earlier. So I'm just trying to roughly, or try to estimately get the outline here. And then last is another construction line. So from the center up until here, then press escape once done. And there you go. So I'll batch select these circles and lines that we have created. So from this space, I'll just left click and then drag. And then here at the sketch palette, line type, we'll select construction line. Okay, we're done. We could now proceed on creating a fit point spline. So I'll select fit point spline. Our first point would be this point. Second point would be this point. Third point would be this point. And then fourth would be this point. Then hit check or enter on your keyboard once you're done. There we go. Next, we'll be applying constraints at the tangent handles, these green lines here. So I'll select the horizontal or vertical constraint, and then I'll select the tangent handles that I want to be constrained. So first tangent handle would be this. So 1, second, 2, third, 3, and then again, we will not yet put any constraint here, as we want first this tangent handle to be parallel to be a vertical line. So I'll select the tangent handle or the point of this tangent handle right here. So I'll select, left click, then press M on my keyboard. I'll use this box right here, and then I'll grab and move it, and then I'll just make sure that this line is closely parallel to being vertical, so that's okay. Doesn't need to be perfect. So press OK here. Let me just organize this. There you go. Okay. And now we could apply the horizontal or vertical constraint for this tangent handle right here. So I'll select this, and then I'll select this tangent handle right there. And there we go. And now everything's looking perfectly fine here. And we'll just need to adjust this so we could get this outline of the nose part of the aircraft here. So again, from the point of this tangent handle, I'll select this point. I'll press M on my keyboard. Either of the, if you could select this or this to adjust the fit point spline, but this doesn't matter since it is vertically constrained, so this wouldn't matter anymore. But here I'll just grab this and then adjust, and there we go. I am perfectly fine with this, so I'll just hit OK, and we have our fit point spline that is currently, or is approximately similar to the silhouette or the shape of the cockpit nose here. The last thing that we need to do is just mirror this fit point spline that we have. So I'll just select this, click on the mirror tool. Let me just fix this again. So we could see that the mirror palette, the object is, this is the object that we have selected. Now we just have to select the mirror line. So the mirror line would be this line here. And once done, I'm just gonna be hitting OK. There we go. And then I just like to make sure that these two lines right here, even though they are perfectly tangent, I just want to make sure, or I do want to do the redundancy of making sure that they are um, perfectly tangent. So what I would do is click on this tangent constraint here. I'll select this fit point spline, and then the second one, and then there we go. I'll hit escape on my keyboard once done, and then I am happy with the shape of this one. So if you'd like, if you aren't satisfied, like I've taught you, you could always adjust tangent handles, and if you are out of options, don't worry, you do still have many other tools or any other construction lines that you could adjust so that you could get the shape perfectly. But for now, this is okay for me. So we'll just finish this sketch here. There we go. So we do have the the side sketch and the top sketch for the nose of the aircraft, or the cockpit area of the air aircraft. So we are almost done. What we just have to do is create a 3D sketch canvas. I have mentioned that we will be creating a 3D sketch. Don't worry, this is very easy to create. So what we need to do is create another plane at an angle, what we have just did a while ago. So let me just hide the canvas here. And then same thing, to create a plane at an angle, we need to select this line, and then again at the construct tool, I'll select plane at an angle, and there you go. This one, you don't need to rotate this, as we'll be creating the sketch uh, at this view or at this face. So that's okay, no need to rotate this one. So I'll just hit OK. Second is this, and then I'll select construct again and then plane at an angle, then hit OK. Then there we go. Now we could create a sketch from here. So I'll select this plane here, create a sketch. We'll select again fit point spline, and then by the way, since we have already a reference points already, we don't need to project this as by default also as well. If you look at here at the sketch palette, you would see that 3D sketch is by default is automatically turned on. So we don't need to project this anymore, as if we snap the fit point spline at these 4 points here, yes, it would just automatically detect those points. So I'll select this point, so 1, 2, and then you would rotate the drawing so that you would be comfortable on selecting the points. So 3, and then I'll rotate it again so I could see the points where I am snapping at. So 3, I'm sorry, so that's 4, and then 5, going back. Then hit escape, and then we're not done yet. What I would like to do, since we have created a fit point spline and they do have tangent handles, the green lines here, I would also put a constraint on each one of them. So I'll select again horizontal or vertical constraint. So I'll select this. I'll select this one. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. There we go. So we now have created a 3D sketch from the plane that we have created from this line. So this is now that I am happy with this, so I don't need to make any adjustments. So I'll just finish the sketch here. Then second, same as what we did here. So select the plane here, create a sketch. Again, I'll select the fit point spline, and then since at the sketch palette this is by default it is automatically set to 3D sketch, we don't need to project these points anymore. So I'll just have to select these points here. So 1, 2, I'll rotate the view so I could see the point here, 3, and then 4, and then I'll rotate again the view so that I could see it clearly, 5. Press escape once done, and then last step would be create a horizontal or vertical constraint on each tangent handle. So I'll select this, 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Press escape once done, and then finish the sketch once done as well. There we go. And then last, um, if I go, or sorry, if I toggle on again the canvas, I would also make let's hide this again. So I'll make also a 3D sketch on what we did here. So you see I've purposely didn't create any circle or any lines from here so that I could also show you, since if we create a plane here at this portion right here, we don't have any reference points where we could snap the fit point spline that we have just created. So I'll show you. So that's why I have purposely didn't put any sketch or any construction line here. So to be able to do that, I'll be using the construct tool, and then from this I'll be creating offset plane. So we are already familiar with this, and then I'll select the front face. I'll drag it and then go here. By the way, on our earlier videos, I've told you that there is an issue where we couldn't see the plane that we are creating, where when we are offsetting a plane. Well, it's not really invisible, or it's just really small, so don't you worry. So right now this is really small, and then I'll just adjust this right at the middle of this line here. So let's say it doesn't need to be perfect, that's okay for me. So okay. And you could see here that this plane is really small. The simple solution is you could just hover around the edge until you see this line here. I don't know what the color of this, but the side is glowing. So you just need to hover around it and then select it, left click and then grab until your desired size of the plane. So again, here also at the top view, so I'll select this and then here. There we go. So if you also want, you could also extend it here and then here as well. Okay. Now we could hide the canvas and then create another 3D sketch just like what we did here at these two. So I'll select this plane, create again another sketch. And then what I have told you is that there are no reference points where we could snap when or where we could snap the fit point spline that we will be creating. So the trick is under here create and then here at the project or include, we need to select the project intersect tool here, intersect. So what this does is, you remember the construction plane that we have created, it is intersecting at these lines here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You see also when I'm hovering, you could already see that it creates the point where the plane is intersecting at. So I'll just hide again the plane, we don't need that. So I'll just select this. We are still at the project intersect tool. So I'll just select this. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Hit OK once done. And there you go. We have the 4 points where we would snap the fit point spline. So I'll select the fit point spline. Select this point here. 2, 3. I'll rotate the view so that I could see the line, the point here. So 4, and then 5. Hit escape once done. Last step would be applying constraints, so horizontal or vertical constraint. Select those. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Hit escape once done. Then we are now okay with this. I'll just finish the sketch. There we go. Now we are ready to create the 3D body of this section right here, or the cockpit section or the nose section. I'll toggle on again the 3D body. Now we need this. And then I'll go here at the surface. So again, surface, then create, and then we will use the loft tool. So click on loft tool. So okay, so profile, I'll click this plus sign here. Our first profile would be this profile here. Second profile would be this. Third profile would be this one. And then fourth profile would be this one. And then I'll rotate the view. You could see the shape kind of looks funny. Don't you worry. So that's why we have created the side sketches and also the top sketches, since they will serve as a rails, so that this 3D body right here would be similar to the canvas that we're trying to imitate or copy. So again, we already have the profile. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let us go here at the rails. So click the plus sign here. I'll select the first rail here, 1, second rail, 2. Third rail, I'll rotate the view. So this is the third rail. 3. Fourth rail, I'll rotate the view so that I could see it. So 4. There we go. Don't hit OK yet. So for me, I always like to do redundancies. So I know already while we're doing the sketches that we already made sure that this is perfectly constrained, or the lines, the vertical lines, and then there is a smooth transition here. For me, I always like to do redundancies so that the body is completely perfect or flawless. The transition is completely flawless, and you wouldn't even recognize that there are multiple lines that created the body. So here, I'll go at the profiles, and then I'll just select this, and then tangent. So that's okay. Now we could hit OK, and now we could see that the body has been created, or the this section right here has been created. Like I have told you, it is always a good practice to turn on the canvas and make sure that you are happy with the result, or the shape that we're trying to create is closely, or as close as possible to the 3D body that we are creating. So right here at the top view, I am happy with this. How about at the side view? I am also happy with this. How about at the front view? So I am also fine with this one. So there's also another trick. For me, I also try and change the visual style of this 3D body here. So here, I'd go at the display settings. At the visual style, I'll change it to shaded view. So you could see here that the body, you wouldn't even notice here that the body is made out of multiple lines, or this body right here, this section right here, and this section right here is or has been made on different lines. So that's what I'm trying to say. So it is always important to use tangent or constraints so that you would achieve a perfectly seamless body, or a yeah, a perfect body that you wouldn't even notice that it is made from different lines. Last view, because I do wanna make sure that the body is perfectly correct, you could also switch here. So click here and then go to render. I'll just minimize this, and here as well. So you could check that the body is perfectly flawless or seamless. The transition is completely seamless. I'll go again here, design, and then I'll switch to the default visual style. So that would be shaded with visible edges only. You could also see here the keyboard shortcut, so that would be Control 6. How about let's try that? So Control 6 on my keyboard, and then there we go. Now we could close this section here with the nose part of the aircraft. So what I would like to do is I'd go here at the patch tool. I'll patch this up. I'll hit OK. Let me just hide the body here. And this is the shape or the surface that we have just created. And this surface right here will only serve as a guide to create the nose. Let me unhide the body here. And then remembering that we already have made multiple construction planes here, we could also reuse them so that, for example here, we could split this body. So if you'd still remember, we have created this plane right here from this line. So for me, what I'd like to do is I'll go here at the solid, I'll split the body, and then it's asking me what body is to split, so only this surface right here. And then it's asking me the splitting tool that we want to use. So again, like I've told you, we could reuse the construction plane that we already have, and I would use this as the splitting tool. And then I hit OK. There you go. Do not hide yet these planes because I'll be making another sketch from this plane right here. So again, I'll select this plane here. I'll create this sketch. And remembering again where we have created the top sketch for the top canvas. So that should be this sketch 6. I just need to project this line and then this line right here where we have splitted the body. I'll press P on my keyboard or the project tool. This is okay. Selection filter is selected as specified entities since we are only projecting 2D sketch or a 2D drawing only. So I'll select this 1, 2, and then this part right here. So 3. And then hit OK. I don't need sketch 6. I'll hide it and then I'll finish the sketch. I'll go here at the surface and then once again I'll create a patch and then I'll patch this up. Hit OK once finished and then there we go. We now have this. Let me just hide this one. We now have these 3 bodies right here or 3 surfaces. 1, 2, 3. And then before proceeding on creating the 3D sketch, I just need to toggle on the side sketch that we have created. Remembering it's still sketch 5, and this will only serve as the rail. Now we could proceed on create loft, and then we'll select the profile. So this would be the first profile, so 1, 2, and this is the second, so 2, and then the third profile would be this 3. Do not finish it yet. So again, we need to add the rails. So select here. First rail would be this one. Second rail would be this two. There we go. Now we are done. So hit OK. And then, like I've told you, since we do not need these 3 surfaces right here, we could remove them. So I'll go here at the body. So it says here, this is body 4. So I'll select this, right click, remove. So this is body 3. So select this, right click, remove, and then I don't need this as well. So select this, right click, remove. I'll unhide the body, and then there you go. Again, the good practice is always turning on the canvas and checking if all the bodies are we did get the approximate shape of the canvas that we're trying to create. So top view, that is okay. Side view, that is okay for me. Front view, that is okay for me. I'll hide the canvas. Let's change our visual style. So that would be Control 4. Or here, you could change it here at the display settings, visual style. So that's Control 4. Then let me see. Let us check. Okay, you see here, the nose is perfectly blended. So you can't even notice that these 3 bodies right here, 1, 2, and then 3, are made out of different lines. So another, you can also change the workspace, what I'd like to do. So go to render and then check it once more. So there you go. The body is perfectly created. We don't even notice that it has been created into from multiple sketches. So I'll go back to design workspace. I'll go back to my visual style. So Control 6, and then there we go. Now we are done with this part right here. Next would be the tail section, or where we'll finish this one here.